channel. Today we're going to be doing a self-love yoga flow. So by self-love, I don't just mean spending 30 minutes or so rolling around on the mat, hugging knees into chest. As nice as that is, today we're going to be focusing on creating opening in the body. Some moves that should feel really nice, creating space, and hopefully by the end of it, feeling just a little bit more settled into the body. There'll be a little bit of core work as well, just to protect the back, because we're doing quite a bit of opening type postures without going too deep, but hopefully that will just make you feel a little bit more fired up in the core and a little bit more ready to take on your day. Another theme I want you to think about is your inner teacher. So the best form of self-love that you can give to yourself in yoga is to listen to your body rather than your ego, or to just blindly follow the teacher. So if I'm saying something that doesn't work for you, then the key thing I want you to take away from this is to listen to yourself, listen to your inner teacher, and modify. So I have given a few modifications in this practice, but if you just feel that a different way of moving your body in that particular part of the class feels better for you, then I want you to do that and practice self-love in that way. So grab out your mat. If you've got a brick, that's always helpful. If not, you don't really need it too much, just a nice extra little prop for modification, and get ready to go. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and maybe just leave a comment, or if you have a friend who you think will enjoy, pass it on to them and share the love. Namaste. Oh, and if you hear any barking, this little guy is totally to blame. Have a great practice. So today we're going to start down on our backs, rolling down nice and soft. Extend the left leg out and hug the right knee in. Give it a rock from side to side, creating a little bit of movement around the joint, loosening off any hard tissue. Then bring the knee back to stillness, and on the next exhale, bring the forehead up towards the knee. Maybe you can touch, maybe there's a little bit of space there. Inhaling and exhale to lower. Take the right arm out to the side and use the left to draw that right knee over to the left side, keeping the shoulder of the right side anchored down onto the ground. Supine twist. Inhale to come all the way back up, and swap sides. Bring the left knee in, readjust the hips if you've moved to one side of the mat, and take that rocking motion once again, side to side, loosening off, creating space. And then exhale, lift up, forehead towards the knee. Take an inhale here, and another exhale back down. Left arm extends this time, and right arm draws the knee over for a twist. Inhaling all the way back up, hug both knees in now. Maybe just take a little clockwise roll around, massaging out the lower spine, and then swapping, rolling the other direction. Start to rock the knees up and down, maybe coming up the full length of your mat if that feels good for you. And then when you get to the top of the next roll, let the feet come down, cross at the ankles. You can see I'm on a carpet, my mat's rolling up. And step back to your all fours position. Take a few rounds of cat-cows just to warm up the spine and also get the wrists used to having some pressure on. So as you inhale, pull the chest forwards, and exhale, tuck the chin to the chest and round through the shoulders. Inhaling, creating length as you lift through. Exhale, navel draws upwards, tailbone tucks under. Inhale, drawing through. Maybe you feel the sit bones spread as you get to the top of that movement. And exhale to round through again, pressing the floor away. Coming back to your neutral spine now, just take a little moment just to rock back and forwards over the wrists. Pressing the fingertips into the mat, take the pressure off the wrists rather than having all of the weight in the balls of the hands. And just come up into a plank just to check how far apart your feet and hands should be. Drop back down onto the knees, keep the feet and hands where they are. Draw the hips back and reach up and back. First downward dog of the day. Feel free to walk it out. Feel your way in, maybe even let the shoulders get involved. Deepening out the breath. Come back into stillness whenever you feel ready, and just check in with what your downward dog is looking like. So fingertips are spreading wide and pressing in, maybe even gripping the mat. Shoulders draw away from the ears as you press the hands into the mat. Navel draws in slightly, hips reach up and back. Gaze is towards the feet, the knees are all the way up to the navel, your choice. Putting a slight bend into the knees if you need, but thinking about the heels pressing backwards even if the knees are bent. And exhale, stepping feet up, in between the hands, nice and slow. Take a pause to ragdoll, so a little gap between the feet, a little bend in the knees, maybe you grab the elbows with opposite hands and sway. And then roll up, vertebrae at a time, keeping that nice bend in the knees. So you can come up nice and slow and soft. Head comes up last to standing. Find your mountain posture. So that's either with the feet together or slightly parallel apart. Lifting up through the crown of the head. If you tend to stick out your bum, just tuck that tailbone under. Shoulders relax down. Palms to the side or open, your choice. Inhale to lift. And then exhale, hinge forwards, folding with a flat back. Halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale to step back. Take an extra inhale at the top of the plank for this round. And then exhale, knees down, move forwards as you go down, keeping those elbows in and try and get the chest to land at the same time as the hips rather than afterwards. Releasing the toes. For this first one, take the hands slightly wide and forwards, coming onto the fingertips. Inhale, trip all the way back up, and exhale down. Hands back in line with the chest, tucking the toes as you inhale, and exhale, reaching up and back, downward facing dog. Breathing here through the nose. On your inhale, come up onto the tiptoes. Exhale to bend the knees nice and strong. Press the stomach back, maybe even comes into contact with the upper thighs. Then start to reach the heels backwards. Maybe you keep a soft bend in the knees. One more inhale here. And then exhale to step feet forwards, up in between the hands. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling to fold. And inhale, press the toes into the mat, coming up with a flat back, reaching hands high, and exhaling down. We'll do 2 more rounds of that. Hands coming back to the start. Inhaling, and exhaling, flat back to fold. Halfway lift, tabletopping the back. Exhaling, stepping back and lowering through on the same exhale this time. Maybe the knees hover, maybe they're still on the ground. Inhaling, your choice of back bend. Maybe the hands stay in line with the chest for cobra. And then exhale, downward dog. Taking a deep inhale and exhale here for 3 rounds. Keep pressing that floor away, squeezing the shoulder blades together. And if you're quite bendy in the shoulders, just make sure you don't overextend and flare the rib cage. Keep that tailbone tucked and the ribs closed in. Exhale, step the feet up in between the hands again. Halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhaling all the way up. And exhaling back to Tadasana Mountain Pose. 1 more round. Inhaling. And exhaling. Inhale halfway. Exhale to step back and flow. Maybe full chaturanga. Move forwards and down. Inhale, maybe full upward dog with the hips and thighs hovering. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, downward dog. Breathing through, treating each downward dog as if it's your first, so just checking through, make sure you're not collapsing into the pose. Keep it strong. And then exhale, stepping forwards, inhaling to lift. Exhaling to fold, and inhale coming all the way up, and exhaling down. Just pause for a breath here. Nice slow deep breath to reconnect. Inhaling and exhaling. And then from here, inhale the hands back up. Exhale to fold through. Halfway lift as you inhale. And then step just the left leg back. This time into a lunge. Left hand might just move slightly wide, so you can inhale and twist up. Exhale, the hand comes back down. Step the foot back and take a little bit of a flow through. Your choice of flow. Inhaling and exhaling. Right leg will come through once again. This time the back knee will drop onto the ground. Inhale to come up and exhale to twist to the right. Take an inhale, lengthen up, and exhale, maybe twist a little bit deeper or turn the gaze. Inhale to come back around, hands frame the foot, step to lift the back heel, drop it in line with the short edge of the mat, and inhale to come up, straighten the front leg as well. I'll just turn around. So you're here, turn the toes back forwards, so the feet are parallel. Lengthening up here, and then exhale, you'll start to hinge forwards from the hips. You might even feel your fingertips getting slightly pinched as you fold. Keep pressing into the outer edges of both feet. If the hands can reach the ground, take them there, fingertips forwards. If you can't, you can rest them on the legs. Make sure there's a little bit of a micro bend into your knees just so they're not locked out beyond straight, especially if you're quite mobile in the joints. And slowly move forwards with the breath into your fold. If the hands start to bend, you can walk them back to encourage you deeper into the fold. Just make sure the head doesn't come down onto the mat. If it does, your feet might be a little bit too wide and you want to bring them closer together. Maybe just move the weight a tiny bit forwards. Just take that little bit of weight more into the balls of the feet rather than leaning back. Trusting yourself here, self-love. Inhale to come all the way back up. Hands returning to the hips so you get halfway and coming all the way back upright. From here, the left toes will turn back forwards. You'll be turning towards the back of your mat now, lifting up. Hands come wide to a T for triangle pose. Start to tip the body weight forwards and then exhale to switch the arms. Notice that I'm not sticking my bum out and folding forwards. My right shoulder is directly over the left. Hand gently rests on the leg if you need. Maybe you come down a little bit deeper, just making sure you're spiraling that chest, not closing in and folding. Breathing here, keep the stomach drawing in to help give you that bit of support. And look down towards the toes. Inhale to come up, and then exhale, just slightly cartwheel the hands and find your flow through. Inhaling your choice of back bend, exhaling, downward dog, ready for the other side. Left leg comes through in between the hands. Right hand goes to the side, twisting up with the left. Exhaling down, step back, find your flow. Bring that left leg through once again. Back knee drops this time. Inhaling up. Exhale to twist. Inhaling, stepping back. Toes tucked under, lifting the back foot up. Dropping the heel. I'll need to turn around once again. Inhale to come up for your wide-legged stance. This time, turn the toes in. Keep the feet turn the heels in, keep the toes turned out, hands on the hips or in prayer, whatever feels more natural for you. And exhale to come into a wide-legged goddess squat. Make sure that the feet are pressing onto the outer edges so the knees don't collapse in. Sink in a little bit deeper, keep that tailbone tucking under so you don't start to tip. And take the hands down onto the knees. You can even press into the knees slightly to avoid this from happening. And then drop the right shoulder down, maybe turn the gaze. Inhale up, exhale left shoulder down. Keep pressing the hands into the knees, inhaling and exhaling to twist and dip. Inhaling, exhaling, one more each side, really feeling that movement, giving that space through the shoulders as you open up the hips. Exhale. Inhaling back, straightening the legs. Turn the left toes back so the foot in line with the short edge of the mat. Right toes forwards, hips still facing towards the side. Inhaling and exhaling, tipping, pivoting the arms, triangle pose. Right palm is facing forwards, back of the hand resting on the leg. Maybe you go down a little bit deeper on the next exhale. Keep pressing those front hips forwards, tucking that tailbone under. Inhale to come back, and exhale, cartwheel the hands, step back and drop down onto the knees. Take them wide and come into a wide-legged child's pose. Breathing here. Feeling the parts of the body that you've just created space, giving some loving opening and attention to. And just noticing how that feels now. From here, bring yourself back, draw the knees in. And then come down onto the forearms, lifting up into a plank. So you can either keep the hands like this, parallel with the elbows, or you can bring them into a prayer, whatever feels better for you. So we're going to just do a little bit of core work here so that we're protecting the back as we create space with our heart openers. Inhaling here, and exhale to drop the hips down to the right. Inhaling back up, exhale to the left, plank dips, inhaling, exhaling for 2. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling for 3. Last time, inhale, and exhale, back to the center, drop the knees back down, and come back to your figure 4. So from here, I'll just turn sideways to demonstrate. You'll reach the right arm up into the air, nice little twist to start off with, and then exhale, thread the needle, dropping the right shoulder onto the ground, maybe the left ear as well. One thing I notice a lot of people tend to do when they first do this is they move the hips back and there's no room for the head and shoulders to get down. So keep the hips forwards over the knees, and then you've got plenty of room to drop. Left hand either stays in line with the face, maybe it slides forwards, or maybe it wraps around the back. Whatever feels better for your neck here, breathing through. And then if the left hand move, bring it back in line with the face, press it down, lifting up, ready for the other side. Maybe just swaying the hips between sides. And then the left arm reaches high, exhale to twist it through, find that movement. Again, your choice, either hand in line with the face, reaching up, or wrapping around. Whatever feels best for you, your practice, your yoga. And then unraveling, so that right hand presses back in, back into your all fours. Toes tuck, reaching up and back, downward dog. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale here, really feeling your way into that pose. And then tiptoe the feet all the way forwards, up, in between the hands, keeping the legs straight for as long as you can, bending when you need. Exhale and back down. Pressing the toes, inhale to come back. If you're really close to the top of your mat, just give yourself a little bit more room if you're quite close to the wall like I am. From here, sweep the fingertips, sinking through the hips, coming into your chair, either hands up here or up. Let that tailbone tuck. Check you can see the toes. If not, draw the hips backwards, even though you're still trying to keep that tuck of the tailbone. Maybe sink a little bit deeper. Then from here, just start to transfer the weight into the right leg, coming up onto the left tiptoes. If that's challenge enough, stay here. If not, start to straighten that right leg, lift up so the left knee is hovering. And then start to transfer the weight. So if the toe is still on the ground, you'll just drag the left toes along the mat. If you're hovering, maybe you come through warrior 3. Whoops. Maybe you wobble like I did. And then stepping the left toes back. So if you're dragging, it'll look more like this. Wherever you are, find your way in your crescent lunge. Taking a breath here, inhale the hands up. Exhale to relax the shoulders. Still being able to see the big toe of the front foot, even if you exhale a little bit further forwards into the hips. And then exhale, stepping all the way up with control if you can. And lowering that foot. Refinding your mountain pose. And then coming into your chair posture once again. Maybe it's a little bit deeper this time, keeping that tailbone tucking though. Your choice, either right toes or lifting to hover the right leg. Either dragging the right toes back or transferring the weight for your warrior three. Imagining you're pressing that right foot into an imaginary wall behind you, so it's nice and straight and strong, toes aiming towards the ground. Bending into the left leg, step the right toes down to the ground, inhaling up. Just keep the inner thighs squeezing together, so even though they're physically apart, you're not opening up the hips, you're squeezing the inner thighs together to keep the hips forwards. Let the shoulders relax, maybe sink a little bit deeper into that pose. If you need to, bend the back knee to keep that tuck of the tailbone so you're not arching. And then exhale, stepping up and forwards, releasing down, walking the toes out. From here, bring the feet more or less to the edge of your mat, the toes out. Have a little bit of space in front of you, but plenty of space behind you as well, so maybe about halfway up the mat. Hands coming into prayer. And imagining you're sliding down a wall, keeping the back straight. Start to come into a low squat. You might need to adjust how far apart the feet are as you lower, keeping that back nice and straight. If you stop here, that's fine. If you stop to go higher up, that's fine. If you can come all the way down to the ground, bring the elbows into contact with the legs and press out, helping to keep the knees from collapsing inwards and allowing the torso and chest to be proud. Breathing into your Malasana squat. If your hips are a little bit higher or you don't feel safe, you can always take the hands down onto the ground, or if you feel like you've got the control to do so, reach the hands out, see if you can transfer the weight back, and maybe you go straight into your Navasana. If your feet are on the ground, that's fine, just lift the right leg up, then the left. Hands can be on the back, on the knees, or free. The main thing is keep that spine nice and straight and long, no rounding, even if you have to bring a foot down. Maybe the legs start to extend for 3, 2, I'm shaking a little bit, and 1. Hugging in. Take a sway from side to side, rolling out. And then we'll come into that on the opposite side. So if the right leg raised first, then bring the left leg, or if you did both legs at the same time, that's fine. Keeping the chest nice and straight, spine nice and long. Your choice on where you go. For 3, 2, maybe lift a little bit higher, and 1. Exhaling down, hugging in. Bring the feet back slightly parallel, a little bit of a gap between the feet. Lower down, vertebrae at a time, all the way down onto the back. Little gap between the feet. If you don't have a sense of where they are in space, turn the toes slightly inwards, or if you know where they are, keep them parallel. See if you can tickle the heels with the middle fingers. You don't really want to go any closer than this though, so if you're all the way up here, step them out a little bit. And if you can't quite touch the heels with the fingers, that's fine as well. Palms press down to the mat, press the heels into the mat, squeeze the glutes as you exhale to lift up into a bridge. Interlace the hands, maybe walk the shoulders close together, and that will lift the chest and give you a bit more reach into your bridge pose. A little bit of space between chin and chest. Keep reaching, and then exhale, lowering down vertebrae at a time. So if you either found that the knees collapse out quite a lot or you weren't sure how to engage your glutes, your hamstrings, grab a block, pop it between the knees, and just in having to keep the block from falling down, you'll just be lightly engaging the hamstrings and the glute muscles, as well as stopping the knees from going out to the side. So that's an option there. We'll come back into the same pose again, inhaling to prepare, exhaling to lift, pressing up through the heels, squeezing the muscles down the backs of the legs, maybe interlace the hands again, lifting high. Keep that space between chin and chest, and then releasing, exhaling to lower and removing the brick back out of the way. Let the knees open out to the side with the soles of the feet together to come into a supine Baddha Konasana, a reclining cobblers or butterfly pose. Palms can be out, opened up to the ceiling, or resting on the stomach, your choice. We'll take a few moments here to reconnect with the breath. If you find that this pose is a little bit hard on your inner thighs, if you've got a brick, you can always just pop them underneath the thighs, just on the side, and that will just give you a little bit of support. You can also use a pillow for this. If not, let gravity give you a slight opening. And then drawing the knees back in. We'll just take a little bit of inversion now. So if shoulder stand is something you do at home, then feel free to take it. If not, we'll come into waterfall. So lifting the hips up, palms facing down, hands underneath, and you'll just lift the legs up into the air. If you've got a block, then you could do the same, but with the brick underneath rather than your hands. Nice and firm on the hips, lifting up. And let the feet just come into the air without too much muscular control required. So wherever you are, we'll aim to take 10 breaths here, but if you need to come out early, then that's absolutely fine. Feet don't need to be flexed or pointed, they're just kind of halfway between the two. Finding a little bit of softness now. So these inversions are quite nice, particularly things like shoulder stand and this pose, waterfall, because they're relatively restorative and passive for an inversion, but you've still got the feet above the head, the feet above the heart, which allows for a little bit of lymphatic drainage in the body. And also it's quite calming on the mind. If the feet start to feel a bit funny after a few breaths, feel free just to slightly wriggle them around, or maybe you bend or straighten one leg down and then the other. If you're in full shoulder stand, you can always take the right toes back overhead and then swap to bring the left toes back behind you, whatever feels good. One more inhale and exhale here. And then coming out nice and soft. So if you're in shoulder stand, rolling out vertebrae at a time. If you've got a brick, just removing it. And once the hips are back down onto the ground, feel free to bend the legs in. Just hug the knees into the chest. Giving yourself a little bit of a counter posture. Extend the feet upwards. Try and have a more or less right angle bend in the knees. At the moment I'm a little bit further than that. I'll take the knees wide, reach the hands up towards the outer edge of the feet and draw the knees down towards the armpit, and I'm getting a little bit closer to that right angle bend. Just make sure that you've not got the knees in really tight, the feet happen to pull to the side, or that you're trying to come into a supine or kind of supine Baddha Konasana pose. So you want the feet up as if the soles are going to press on the ceiling with the ankles directly over the knees, or at least as close to over the knees as possible. Hugging in if it feels good. Take a little sway from side to side. And then hug the knees in. Extend the left leg out. We're going to come back into a supine twist. So if you found it quite comfortable earlier, then you can maybe take a slightly different variation where you draw the left leg in, right knee crosses over the left. Just lift the left foot and drop it down so the right can maybe snuggle underneath, so eagle legs. If that doesn't feel right for you, just come back into the version you did before. So the right knee is over the left and you'll drop the knees to the left hand side. Right arm is still acting as an anchor. And maybe the gaze looks over to the right hand side. Taking a deep breath here. Inhaling to come all the way back up. Swapping sides, so either left leg hugging in, right leg extended, or drawing it in, crossing at the knees and drawing over onto the left side. Onto the right side, sorry. Left arm is anchoring you down, gaze towards the ceiling or looking over to the left. Inhaling back up and unraveling. Final hug in of knees to the chest. Before you come down into your Shavasana. Allowing the legs to flop out to the side, shoulders to relax down. I'm just going to pause and end this video here. So you can take your Shavasana for as long as you need, whether that's just a minute, maybe it's 5, maybe it's 10, maybe even longer. Giving yourself this time to draw in the benefits of your practice, softening down. Thank you very much for practicing with me, and I'll catch you again in the next video.